So Claude Fable got banned and everybody is worried about the things. Well, I'm not happy, but I was much more worried about to pay API costs for Fable. I'm absolutely calm when it comes to this because I'm not depending on the model. And if you watch this video to the end, you will understand that there is no need to be constantly on the hunt for the new best model. And you will become much more resilient to these changes, not only for AI models, but new technology in general. I want to give you this picture. Think about you're in a room that's completely dark. You cannot see anything, you cannot hear anything, and you are there with your brain. So not seeing anything, not hearing anything means you have no context. Now you're in your own world, live from your memories that you have, and you don't get new input that you can work with. Suddenly, there's a light pointing at a chair. Instantly, you think, okay, that is a chair. Based on my experience from history, I can sit on this chair. I can stand on the chair, I can throw the chair away, I can burn the chair. Many things that I could do with this chair that your brain instantly comes up with. But up to the point where there was no chair in the room, you had no thought about that chair. And this is the context I'm talking about. The chair in the room is context for the model. It's the local folder that's holding this chair as an asset, telling the brain, Claude, GPT, Gemini, that there is a chair in this room. And that's what people do when they upload images or files to a chatbot and then they say, hey, let's work on this. This is what happens. The brain goes through all the options that I mentioned. I can throw the chair, I can sit on it, all these things. So now, if you give instructions, so imagine you're still in this room, you go towards the chair. On the chair, there's a piece of paper saying what you need to do with the chair. And on this paper is only written, you're only allowed to sit on this chair and wait for your next instructions. You will sit there and wait. And those are the instructions that we have in the local folder for AI. So we have the asset, which is the reference, the context, the chair, but we also give the AI what it should do with this asset. Now, if we bring this into better context as a professional, think about a slide deck. You can tell ChatGPT, create me a slide deck, and you will get a slide deck about something. The more context you put into the prompt, like I have a furniture company and I'm selling chairs, you will get a slide deck with relevant information in there, but it's not highly customized to your specific company. If you don't provide the name of the company, if you don't provide what type of chairs this company is building, if you don't provide any images of your own chairs, it will just make up images for these slide decks. The thing is, if you provide these assets to AI upfront in this local folder, it can use this to produce something that is very unique to you. And just by these guardrails that you give AI, it will become so much more efficient working for you, instead of having back and forth or the feeling that every new chat starts from scratch. If you think about it, if a friend of mine goes into the same dark room, the light goes on, there's the chair, there's a letter on the chair saying you're only allowed to sit on this chair, the probability that my friend will do the same that I did is very high. And this applies to the different AI models too. That's why I'm able to switch models at any time, because if they look into the folder that I have locally with all the instructions, they will read the same letter and start working according to it. So of course, maybe the third person going into the dark room and sees this letter thinks, what the heck, I'm not sitting on this chair, I will just burn it to ashes. Could happen, especially with humans. And that's what AI could do too, going off rail. So that's why there are guardrails in there. And that's why we can ensure, again, just in the local folder with additional instructions and separating agents, that they double check themselves. So that's in my setup, for example, I have an orchestrator who is the Spock, the single person of contact that I'm writing to in my terminal. And he has the team roster of all the different agents, which is just a set of instructions that he can look through and sees, okay, that's the expert perfect for the job that Tom is asking for. I let this guy do it. And then there is another agent, a quality assurance agent, who double checks the outcome of this work. And that's something that Anthropic and Claude now start building natively into the model itself, but it's something I've been using for over a year already. And now when we think further, and if you think about how you work, if you ever worked in corporate or in companies with regulations, you might use standard operating procedures, guidelines, work instructions, and it's all there to tell the people inside the company that they should sit on a chair and not burn it down to ashes. And there will be always an employee who is burning it down to ashes. So the more we see it from a perspective working with real human teams in companies, how we use AI, the more we understand how we should approach bringing AI into our own business world and life. If you ever worked with a team or you run your own business, then implementing these rules and guidelines inside your business goes already a long way working with humans, and the same applies with AI. And it's the only thing that I did in this local folder. I treated, since the beginning, AI as my team working for me. And yes, sometimes I have to fire a person or send them to a training camp to improve their skills. And that's literally exactly what I tell my AI team to do. What this means is they go out, research how they can improve based on my feedback that I gave them.
And then Tom said to me, "Can you contact me via Telegram too?" And I thought, what about our team communication rules?
And they update their documentation in the local folder.
You know, I thought to build my own agents. My work can be automated, so why should I do this?
Do you think Tom and Paco would notice anything?
To ensure it's optimized again. And the beauty is I can look into the documentation, read through this as it's natural language to read, and understand if this makes all sense.
We go truly paperless, we need faster approvals.
Automate signatures and receipts end to end.
And track every handoff in one dashboard.
And this, my friends, makes us resilient from these changes, and suddenly Fable goes away. Well, I would be really sad if Claude would get shut down completely. And if there is no AI available at all anymore, that would be sad too. But I think what people underestimate so far are the local models, that we can download our AI to our own computer and it's running everything locally, completely independent from any external companies or APIs that we can use. And this is something that I'm following closely. The moment it gets closer to Opus 4.8, it might be really worth to get a beefy hardware to run these things locally and become completely independent. And I think this is the way it will go eventually, and we are not there yet. And one last thing about the models that you use, for example, in Claude. As you might know, there are different models: Haiku, Sonnet, Opus, now we had Fable, Mythos. So you have very fast models that are less capable, but are a lot cheaper compared to the front-end models like Opus and Fable. Having this orchestration team, I can tell the different team members what model they should use. If I have, for example, a researcher who just goes out to the web, prompts the web to get something to research, I don't need Opus for this. I can define, again, just in the local documentation, and we have a whole course inside my ICOR how we do this. You can just tell this team member has Haiku, and the orchestrator uses Sonnet because all he needs to know is to understand who is on the team roster, who would be the best one doing the job. And then you have front-end developer or database experts in there who do really complex work and need to have a big context window. They would get the Opus model. And Fable is really something that I would not use in general. And the thing is, most people run everything on the expensive model because they feel they're missing out. But the moment you perfectly understand what the outcome should be from your work, you better understand what model you really need. So in short, I heard the news about Fable. I was not happy hearing this. And here I am still working like every day before, because before last week I had no Fable in the first place and was perfectly happy with AI already. But the thing is, I'm aware that most people are not even close to leveraging what is already available due to the lack of understanding how to leverage AI in the first place. And that's why I'm fine. I hope this gives you some clarity. I thought to bring this out because I think this hunting for the next big thing is holding you back to actually get things done. So So if you stick to something and it starts working for you, be happy about the outcomes, see the return of investment, and then you make much better decisions in the future if it is worth investing a lot more money into something more capable, or is it even necessary? Again, think about hiring a human person. Do you need an assistant helping you with something to remove friction from your expert work? Or do you really need to hire an expert costing 10x more per month doing some specialized work and he doesn't help you at all with your administrative work? That's exactly how we need to see this. Let me know in the comments below. Have you been aware of this already? Do you have a different perspective on this? How are you affected by this Fable ban? I'm curious. This is it for this video and I'll catch you up in the next one.